All right. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. We'll see if my voice holds up the whole time today. There we go. Yeah, the coffee's ready. We'll see if sound. So this weekend was an action-packed weekend. Saturday we had the boys tournament. So basically, I have a group of fifth and sixth graders, like 50-50, and we were playing in a seventh grade bracket, and we ended up going to the championship. Right? We were 2-1. The team we lost to is kind of like a brother team of ours. Um, So we were supposed to play them in the championship again, but after 6 hours of sideways rain, we were kind of like, you know what? We already played you once. At halftime, they were beating us 3-2, and then at the end, my kids were just tired. But we were like, you know what? We already played once. You just take championship. We were good. We're ready to go home and get dry. Um, and then yesterday, I had the men's version of the tournament, so I played yesterday, and obviously, I'm happy to report I did not die. I was like super concerned that like after having COVID, I was like, oh my god, my lungs, I'm not gonna be able to breathe. I'm like, this is gonna suck. And actually wasn't horrible. There was a couple times where I was like, all right, this is definitely, I should not be breathing this heavily right now. But I survived. My voice is obviously hurting a bit though. So yeah, from yelling in the rain and then playing. Um, up, hold on one sec. Hold on one sec, guys. Hold on one sec. All right. All right. I was gonna say if you're still in life, you know, yeah. Although it's weird, like that's the thing about men's. Like you wake up the next morning, you're like, why do I hurt here? Why does that hurt there? Like my right leg, like my right shin. I'm like, why is it? It's like really tender. I'm like, it's not black and blue yet, so I don't know that I took a check, but it's really sore and it's swollen. I'm like, huh, that's exciting. So yeah, yeah, it's definitely old age, yeah. But it was so my division was like a mixed division. It was the B division, and since I'm old, I play in the B one. But we had young kids, so like the face-off guy on our team just graduated from high school. So he's like, "You want to face off too?" I was like, "Hey, you're half my age. I'm old enough to be your dad, so you're more than welcome to take the face-offs. I'll back you up and just play LSM for you." So it's always funny. So I have no problems face off against guys my own age, but when they're like half my age or college players, it's like, it just kills me. So yeah, it's one of those things. But I was like, nah, man. I was like, God, you take them all. Listen, I know where you were going to shoot the ball at. I got you. I got your back. So, um, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fun. I mean, they look up to me, and I'm like, yeah. I was like, I didn't play in college, guys. I went to Maryland. That would, didn't play at Maryland. Sorry, one of the top programs in the country in the last 30 years. No, I didn't play for Maryland. Sorry. All these guys like, yeah, I played in college. I was like, well, I went to Maryland. You went to a D3 school. Do we really want to, compare here? Like, if you went to Maryland, you also would have not played college lacrosse. So it's always a funny thing. It's like, I love guys like, well, I played in college. Did you even play in college? I'm like, you went to a school with 2,000 people. I went to a school with 45,000 people with a team that won, was basically, top four for all 4 years I was there. So yeah, yeah. Slightly different, dude. But you get some people that have such egos. They're like, "Yeah, I'm still wearing my college helmet from 20 years ago." It's like, good for you. I'm happy for you. How many knee surgeries you had? You know. So there's definitely some trash talk in men's league. So anyway, going into Monday, it's quite an interesting Monday morning. The dollar is just going insane this today. And again, as it should, the data last week, there's going to be a continued kind of um, there's going to be continued raising at a faster rate than anybody else. So on a fundamental level, absolutely, the dollar should be getting stronger. Um, and again, it's one of the benefits of having such a large GDP. You know, the United States is a different kind of a different animal than a lot of other countries just because of the sheer size. It's like rich people, like, or just think about poker, right? The guy that has the most chips on the table always has the advantage, right? Versus somebody that's smaller. Um, so again, where we're at, I mean, again, when things turn bad here. But right now, again, with that continued dollar strength, you're seeing it literally across the board right now. Um, other news on Friday that I guess it happened Friday night. Elon pulled out of Twitter, so Twitter's like, "Fine, we're going to make you do this, or you're going to pay the $1 billion breakup fee." But it's like, whatever. If I have to pay that $1 billion, who cares? Um, so Twitter probably not going to have the best week at this point, and they are expecting an extended legal battle. But um, I don't know. I mean, the reason why Elon pulled out was because, listen, you're not forthcoming giving me the information on the bots. If I'm paying for this many users and they're fake users, that's a material breach in contract. Which I happen to agree with him. Like, I think Elon is one of those rich. I just read an interesting article. He is one of the rich people. He does get, he can be very, very aggressive and just throw money at things and throw it away if they want to, because he's got plenty of it. But at the same time, I mean, if you're thinking about, that's like if you ask for the service records for a car and they were like, nope, not giving them to you. And you're like, wait a second, that's a red flag. I mean, it's social media. You're paying for users. If a lot of those users are fake and they're bots and things like that, and they're not going to be forthcoming with that data, that's a big problem, right? Because it's not, it's a big deal. And again, I do believe there is a lot of bots and a lot of fake users. They've already had made, huge sweeps of those things in the past. It's not new, And Facebook has the same problem. When they were acquiring Instagram, it was how many of these are fake accounts or bot accounts, out there just to get views. It used to be, and I'm not going to say any names, but there are people out there that, to get followers on Instagram will pay companies, and they have, their million bots, or, their 200,000 bots with fake accounts will go out there and just like your profile to give you more, because the algorithm is like, how many followers do you have? People will do that kind of stuff. So again, I think it's a material thing. And again, I think NQ is going to have a rough day today because of kind of that emphasis on there. Other things that we saw, I mean, Rogers and kind of phishing scams offering credit services and service outages. Yeah, fun. Um, you know, Australian dollar set to fall further on talks of recessions grow. And again, this is kind of where everybody is. But again, smaller countries, you mentioned recession, it tends to accelerate it a little bit faster. Um, and that's just the way that it is. But again, rising interest rates, turning it into a recession, trying to battle it. I mean, it's a natural cycle. I mean, it's how the markets work. Elon New coming in. That was his out. Yeah, he did. Absolutely, Ernest. I mean, he's not stupid. Um, Actually, I think he actually was trying to acquire it, but I think he wanted to. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I don't know what if he can take it, send the price down, and then like. I think that he jumped the gun before his analysts truly got back to him for how much it was worth. I'm not saying that Twitter pulled their eyes over, or pulled the wool over his eyes. Maybe they did, but I feel like he came out a little bit too soon with his offer without doing enough due diligence. And even not so much to buy it. I mean, nobody wanted to buy Twitter, so I mean, I thought the 54 was a high price tag for that one. But more so, I think the problem is going to be that he owns 10% of the company. So if he is now going to dump 10% of the shares, that just even talking about it, like, oh, if he doesn't want it anymore, he's probably gonna. If you don't want it anymore, why would you keep your shares, right? There's all that selling pressure out there that could really, really, really crush Twitter. So yeah. And I'll tell you right now, at this point, if I was, Zuckerberg, I would be like, I'd be trying to be like, listen, you know what? You guys can keep working at Twitter. I'll pay your salary, because if Twitter drops, all the antitrust stuff, well, I mean, that's the only thing that has basically the government holding back, and I don't even know how much longer they're going to hold back at this point on Facebook. If Twitter goes down, for some reason, if Twitter is able to collapses or something like that gets so cheap, that's where the antitrust stuff is going to come, and they're going to break Facebook up. They have to. I mean, it's you know, there's you can't say there's any competitor out there. Twitter is the only thing that even is remotely close. Snapchat, Instagram, those things. I mean, Instagram is owned by them, but Snapchat, not even remotely the same type of social platform. And with all the backlash from social media right now, I mean, it will all solely be pointed at Facebook. Or sorry, Meta. Meta. I'm never going to call it Meta, by the way, just for you guys, just so you know. Ernest, I 100% disagree with you. His tricks will never get him in trouble because he's rich. He's the richest man in the world. His tricks are not going to get him in trouble. when you have enough money, the rules don't pertain to you. So that's just life. Elon will he'll just throw $1 billion at it, and it'll go away. So that's it. As I said, you don't get that rich being a stupid man. So he knows the game he's playing. All right, so today we have Bailey speaking at 10:15. Bailey is testifying as far as financial stability report. We'll see. I think actually this could provide some insight. Again, you're seeing the euro pound right now in 24 hours is set at 0. Um, I'm assuming at 10:15 we'll see some movement in that one as he talks about it. Again, with Boris out, there'll be new person in. But again, and everybody's talking about, oh my God, the mess that they have. Bailey has the power to move the pound around a little bit. So I mean, right now it's purely. I would say that it's kind of not dead in the water, but I mean, euro pound is at 0, pound yen 12, 11, 10, right? It's not moving. There's no movement. They're all waiting for this speech. So this is kind of almost like an FOMC. So we'll see. Tomorrow morning early, we do have those EU economic forecast. We'll see what that looks like. That actually may provide some strength for the euro. We'll see. And then again, Bailey speaking tomorrow, and then New Zealand's supposed to raise 0.25 or I'm sorry 0.5 tomorrow. So again, kind of a big interest rate rise. And again, that brings them, bringing up at 2.5%. Again, that brings the carry trade kind of over into the realm of like the New Zealand yen type trade. Which again is kind of an interesting pair. It's got kind of a spread on it, but it brings it into an interesting pair. So, big question is, are we going to hear the same news out of New Zealand as we are with the Aussie as far as recession things go? So let's see what we got for today. So, really, the name of the game I'm going to start here is the dollar. Could not believe we're up at 108. Right, we just briefly touched 108.20. Unbelievable that it's this high. And again, it's fundamental factors in. There's not really much to say about it. I would say there's a few levels in here. Again, we've already marked off one. There's another level right down here around 106.80. There's another one of those levels. Right now, raising those interest rates and then seeing all that data last week where it's like, listen, we're hiring back more people. The JOLTS data was fine. The interest rates are not affecting companies yet. And you're seeing some prices come. What's the crazy thing is you're seeing some prices come down in preparation for a recession. But right now, like the jobs numbers and everything else are not showing it. Like, oil obviously was taking it on the chops, right? We're up in the 107 range. We're at 98 last week. Now we're back up to 102, and it's down 2.7%. Local gas here. Not like when I say local gas, we have the regular expensive stations, and then we have like Sam's Club. Sam's Club is down to $4.36. I hate to say that that's cheap, but $4.36 is much cheaper than $5, and that's where we were approaching before. So, I would say on the commodity front, everybody is prepared for that recession, right? But right now, numbers and everything else, it's like, no, we're not there yet. We're not going to the recession yet. We're holding firm. And again, the data last week is just, again, there's no reason why. Even with Bostic saying, yep, I'm in for 0.75. It's like, we're already, a couple raises in. Doing 0.75 now, it's like, yeah, remember back in the day when, Bullard was talking about front loading this and give maybe like a 1 or a 7.5 in the beginning to start this off. And they were like, you're insane, sir. We're a couple times in, and now they're talking about going up to 0.75 next time. So was he really insane? No. And thus far, the economy has been able to hold it. But remember, we're already starting to see some things pull back. We're starting to see, releases from jobs start to kind of get there. So we are starting to see it change. And we've really just kind of started, again, this whole kind of piece. So again, dollar very, very high, at least in the overnight. And here's where we started this weekend, Sunday night, right? So are we due for some type of a pullback? Probably. There will probably be some profit taking coming in. So that's kind of where we're standing with it right now. Nothing but straight up. The U.S. trader is just coming online. Now's when do we see the profit taking coming in? I would say probably. That's probably what we're going to look like. But again, because of it, you're seeing the VIX 7% higher. You're seeing all the indices deeply in the red, especially NQ. But again, look at Twitter right here, down 7.63%. So yeah, that doesn't help NQ have a good day. Now, I actually am surprised that Tesla is so far down as well. Interestingly enough, we marked this gap last week, right? $772, and we talked about this, I think, Friday. And look at that. It closed there on Friday, and now we're all the way down here. So it's kind of funny when we talk about, levels and news and what matters and what doesn't matter. mean, this was just a technical gap. We were talking about filling the gap and being a big area of imbalance. And look at that. Did I know that Elon was going to pull out on Friday? No, I had no idea. I don't even follow Tesla or Elon that closely. I saw the article this morning. But look at that movement. I mean, that's a massive amount of movement off that, right? $50 already. So yeah, and then again, Apple being in the red, kind of the same thing. So, but although Apple has some buyers coming in, so maybe NQ gets a little bit of help. Natural gas is also another one that is exploding up 9% today. That's a big move. That's a big move. But anyway, so let's reset everything for this week. Looks like in the overnight, actually 8 o'clock this morning, we tagged that target. It was in the black. We were talking about taking a short, finding a nice little reversal level in this one. Um, we did get it. Let's see. Let's move this up. Let's move this. I'm probably good with that. This 30-minute, right? Yeah. So that was a reversal, and again, there was a level there. You can see it right here. Whoops, not that one. Here, there. You can see it right there. So again, really since I guess last week we just saw. I mean, we were talking about this big pop up. We were talking about finding a top and finding shorts, and again coming back down where your target was. You can see a base right on the top. It literally kind of bounced back and forth. Ended up tagging the next target. Early morning today, and now we've driven all the way back down. And we talked about yet last week 63, or I'm sorry, 67.34 being a potential area for reversal. Now, if we look to see, I don't think I can see it there. Can I see it on a 2-hour? I thought I could. Yeah. So you can see this is how the zone was formed. It was a nice pop up, and it kind of went down again, and then kind of based there, and then took off. If it does break through, we know we got a little bit of a racetrack down to 66.68. So on a 2-hour level, this is kind of what we're looking at. But we knew we had some buyers in here. It was supported in the past. So what we're going to do with it now is kind of keep an eye on it. And again, these targets from last week, again, they're all hit. We don't need them anymore. If we're able to start seeing some type of a reversal in the dollar and we start popping up again, that could be a sign for us to kind of continue to push forward. Now, if we start to see some basing in this level, we do know that we have a push all the way down here that is kind of set up as a racetrack. So what we need to do is look at this and say, all right, are we going to get some type of base? Are we going to get some type of an idea of what the risk level will look like in closer proximity to, obviously where the zone was originally formed? Um, I, Again, if we see the pop, again, look for the retrace back again. Whoops. And then again, we have our established level of risk. If we just start to base sideways, the big question will be is, right now it's 9:56. 10:30 is where we tend to see those reversals. Do we just start to base around and start, sitting here? That's kind of the ideal setup for that 10:30 reversal. That could be where it takes off, right? Again, it looks something like, I mean, again, 10:30 is right there. You know, it would be somewhat of a, is that 10:30? It's 11. 10:30 is right there. This is what the push looks like, right, right there. All it's doing is bringing you back up to the next base. So again, are we in the trade yet? No. Are we seeing signs that we could have a reversal? Yes. Do we have a defined level of risk? We do, and we can actually shrink this a little bit. Depending on where this candle closes in the next 3 minutes, if it closes here, it obviously helps bring us our 1 to 3 down to there, which is perfect because, again, profit taking is going to come in right there. So, you know, I'd say we're set up for a potential long. And again, it makes sense. It's been nothing but dollar strength overnight. Now is the time where it would take, turn and reverse back to the down, or reverse back up to the top side. All right. So there's one potential setup. Also, again, there's the play from last week. Again, we talked about profit targets where it would come in. You can see it tagged it, and we talked about reversals. Again, it did it very, very fast in the first candle, and then again, you know, really, really choppy back and forth. We didn't make the top section for this third one, so we'll remove all these to clear it out so we can kind of get a good read on it. Again, this one's already out. It hit it a second time, and now we're kind of hitting it a third time. But we can remove that and go for the other distal side. Yeah, right now I would say it's quite choppy, so I don't like a whole lot in there. I'd like to see how it comes off of 91.58. If I had to make an opinion right now, I would say, um, well, there is some basing in here. Problem with this is there's some buyers in here, and again, this is getting drugged with the Aussie dollar, right? Um, there's also some levels down in here, right? Hmm. You can really see this pulling back from the 1030 piece. I'd like to see what it does here. Like I said, it is at a level. It did a nice move off of it. It came back down and touched it, and then took off. Um, I think a confirmation entry at 91.39 would actually be pretty decent if we can just get a little bit more of a push down. Uh, from the bottom of the current candle, it is about 37. I don't know that we can move that much in the next 30 minutes. Hmm. There's something in there. I would say either of these two levels is probably decent. They've both been tested. Both times we've gotten down there in the past, we've had some kind of rallying off of it. So I think clean shorts up top. Again, we know we have a clean short at 93.79. Could we potentially get front run here? Yeah, I would say there's a potential front run right there at the top, kind of the start of this fib draw right now. But I'd really like to see this continue to go lower. Again, it has driven past, so that's probably why we're seeing a bit of a pullback. But 91.94. Here, we'll make this just there we go. 91.94 and then 91.58 would be the two levels that I'd be looking at for a potential reversal. And again, they're a little bit deep in there for a 1030, but I think it's again, both levels were a little bit of a confirmation break. I think we take that long. And again, all it's doing is really reversing what we've seen in the overnight. Euro dollar. Okay, so euro dollar, we talked about a break of 1007 and getting a bit of a pullback. We're kind of seeing that right now. It's kind of basing right below it, pulling back again. You can see right now we have a target of 1.0013, and we got parity sitting right below it. The big question will be is what does the reversal look like right now? Again, Europeans have done nothing. Excuse me. Europeans have done nothing but shoot it straight to the downside. So I do think that there's probably something here. There's probably something to be said about this one. Um, yeah, I'd like to see what the reversal does, but I do think, and again, this is one of those times where if you can get a longer week, some type of a longer duration Nadex contract, this is not a bad one. I think we hit parity this week. Um, maybe we'll see a little bit of retracement with the economic, stability report tomorrow, but who knows? They could also sandbag it and take us to parity tomorrow. But we are so close. I mean, we are right there striking distance wise. And again, this is a level we talked about last week, coming through, breaking through, and again, we based on the top of it. Now we're basing on the bottom side of it, but I'm going to say it. I mean, like I was calling the gold targets. I think we hit parity this week. So again, if you have the ability with the asset classes you were trading, um, I think we target parity this week, and then there'll be a lot of news articles, and it'll be great. Champagne will fly. Streamers from the heavens. All right. Yeah, it's right at that 85. So this we missed kind of a break. We were looking for a break in of 84.35 for a little bit of a Harry Potter. It has kind of stabilized itself right now. Again, here was an old level. We talked about it. Chopped through it, based in it. It went again. It kind of Harry Potter, but again, we did have enough room to run, so we were not initiating a trade over the weekend. Let's remove those just to kind of clean it up a little bit. Let's put this on the top just to make it a little bit cleaner. Interestingly enough, from where the bottom of this current, high to low fib draw is, right at that 85 level happens to be the 23.6. So the level itself is kind of sitting right above it. But I would say if we're able to kind of rally back up, there could be a potential for this to turn and roll back down again. And that would look something along the lines of this. And again, what's the rationale for this? It is an area. There's your 1 to 3 right there. It is an area where we had an impulse, a corrective move, an impulse, and a base, and then boom, it exploded down. And where the current low is, that also was the 23.6. So anybody that's looking for a trend continuation using something like Fibonacci is going to look at that as a sign to get in. Now, again, we're doing it on the supply zone, not the magical, force number. But again, having the force number coincide with that, you gotta be a fan of that one. So right now, again, these are a couple areas that we're looking at. Um, I'm actually going to move this down a little bit now, since again, if this is the bottom and we do start to rally back up again, there's a level there, and again, kind of the same thinking, right? There's an 85 down here, psychological level 23.6, but the 50 is up here, right? And again, it's a level of basing. It was confirmed, then kind of got front run. So, I would say two potential levels for shorts this week are 85, 80. I hate when it goes up 0.9. Um, there we go. Just to end it in 0. 85.59, right? Again, fib level, and then again this 85 level. Look for a level and a short right there. Okay. Euro yen. It's like what, I hear movement. So we were talking about a short, and again, 1, 2, 3 based along it over the weekend. We weren't taking this one as a short. All it did was it popped up, formed a new base, and now it's pushing back down again. So we were looking for short, some type of a short trade in there. And again, there were zones here. We could have used this zone up top. Again, after this one smashed through 3 times, the next one higher would be actually where it bounced off of. So not necessarily surprised. I was not. I was asleep actually at this point last night when these were hitting this level. So not a trade I took, but absolutely one that you could have taken. Um, um, hmm. Last week we talked about this 137.89. I would say that it's still in play. It just happens that instead of being the 50 now, it is now the 61.8, and it actually bisects it right through. So not a bad level. I would say look for this one to come back down. And again, depending on how this one hits, this one actually could be something along those lines where we take a buying opportunity off of it, particularly if we continue to see this moving in the same direction. Again, it is 61.8, so a lot of people will really like that level. I do like how it rallied into there, spent like 2 candles there, and then exploded out of the top. That explosion and kind of test of that base typically shows you that there are still people there that are looking to buy. So again, that could be another potential trade setup. And again, using the same idea, it is a demand zone for us. We have buyers in there. There's a ton of demand, drove it higher. Again, love how much time it spent, love its entry, love its exit, and the fact that it's a 61.8. I think that's a potential target for later on this week, or probably later on today, actually. And so 1 to 3 is, I was so close. I was right there, right? So again, just another one. Again, this should be green. Now, is it going to come in at? Will that one kick in before 10:30? No, it's 40 pips. We need. I don't know. We would need a lot of help from Bailey. We should start getting headlines in the next 10 minutes. Oh, here we go. The speed at which rates rise should rise in an open question. Moving too fast risks oversteering. So my question to George would be: doing nothing, does that have many risks as well? Right? Faster than the economy, markets can adjust. Um, just 4 months after, it's like, the steady path of rate increases could improve market functioning. We'll see. I'm more interested in what Bailey has to say at this point. All right, so there's a potential setup there. Pound dollar. So we talked about this one coming down, and it did. It came down and went back up, and then came all the way back down again. So we're kind of where we expected to be, although a little bit earlier. We wanted it to be next week. It did not end up taking a bounce here, just did a little bit of a kick, but it wasn't a level we were really into. So we're sitting down at the 118.95 right now. This one is kind of set up the same way that the euro dollar is. It's driven into a level, and again, it is 10:30. If this is where reversal's coming for today, this is typically when it happens. It is a level that's been tested. It did some basing in there. You can see it's having a little bit of a problem right now. I'd like to see it rally back up. There's not a whole lot of sellers in here until really up top. Um, if you are looking for a long on this one, like if this is literally the bottom, um, this is that's what it looks like. And again, that's right where the last big group of sellers came in. So it's very similar. Of the two, hmm, I would say that this one has a little bit more risk in it, only because Bailey is speaking. So I mean, obviously there will be a catalyst coming into the market in the next 7 minutes. Could Bailey say something that gives a lot of pound strength? Sure, it could. Our market is a lot more resilient, even with rising interest rates. Inflation is starting to come under control, and we're not seeing. There's a lot he can say, although the data hasn't been wonderful out of the UK. On the flip side, they could basically say, "Hey, listen, our economy is in shambles right now. We are in major trouble. That Boris guy, he tried to he tried to sink the island. You know, so I mean, he could turn it really really negative really quickly. I don't know that he will. I mean, like I said, because Bailey is also kind of at the helm, so he kind of has to take responsibility. So you know, if there's any justification and there's any type of positiveness in this, that would obviously help. But again, more risk than what you would have seen in the euro dollar. Okay, the euro dollar is basically the same trade setup. So depending on your risk of your risk adversity, that's where you take it. Pound yen. So pound yen, we just chopped through this level last week, and again, we spent so much time here. Obviously, there's no Harry Potter entry here. Not really one here, because again, the candle's touching a drop that came back again, as well as it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And we really just chopped back and forth. Now, we have finally gotten it to break now. If it pulls back now, that's what we're looking for. But if it goes much deeper, again, it's basically going to leave without us. But again, no entry, no entry, no entry, no entry, no entry. Obviously, up top, it's not there. Not really an entry here. But again, because this is another hit, you could have taken it short. So right now, I look for it to come down if we break through the 162.86. It's kind of the same idea. Overtake the racetrack here. Um, but not really much else with this one. Like I said, more bearish thinking in this one. Bailey can really tank this one in the next 7 minutes. Had you play this one kind of late last night, there's also a zone here that unfortunately it did not hit, right? But it's a level because it's front run. You could say, hey, listen, I'm not going to use this level for a long or anything like that. But if we get a little bit higher, we could have something coming in a bit. We could have another short up top. So I'd say there and say that those are kind of the two levels for shorts. And again, if this short enables, this turns black. This means our target is down at 161.88. That's actually a pretty nice little runner. Yeah, it's about 90 pips, so good runner to the downside on that. All right. Yeah, not much else to say. Like I said, this one is probably coiled up a little bit, and again, the comments that Bailey's going to make in the next 7 minutes or next 5 minutes, definitely could jack that one around. Now, Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, we talked about levels up here, and we mentioned that again. There was a spike here. We're kind of spiking up right now at 9:30. We're looking for reversals again. We've already hit this level once, and we hit it a second time. So I mean, it's been hit multiple times, and there's a couple levels just a little bit higher. This was the black line was our profit target, right? That's where we were talking about being the profit target, and we just tagged it. So right now, let's see. I want to see. Mm, Yeah. So it chopped through this again. We came down, we kind of hit it again, and then yeah, this was like 12 o'clock. Again, not one you're looking to take. We were hoping that was going to hold and we could take it short today, but again, would not have taken this one. Not at 12 o'clock on a Friday. These are last week; those are done. I'm gonna move this up top here. Um, Again, we're looking for. Watch it turn off this. Watch it be turning off of that. Anyway, we were looking for a short somewhere up in this area, and I do think it makes sense. Again, 10, 12. Oil was kind of beaten up, and again, if we see any type of reverse in oil, we should see a turn and flip back in this one. But I think it's there. I mean, this is what we're looking for, right? Overnight push forward. I don't think this one, like I said, 1 o'clock in the afternoon is not when you're on Friday afternoon is not when you really want to initiate a trade. So again, it's just invalidated. And again, giving us a new bottom, it does kind of help us kind of form a new base. So again, it is kind of in that middle area, and that may be the next place where we look to take shorts. Is again, we'll watch how it comes down. But 129.34, and I would say that right now, I mean, this is kind of our short target right here where we want to take our profits out. But again, we were talking about something along the lines here, and it looks like it's more of a piece up there. Um, Again, this is the time it's going to reverse. So if it's happening today, it's going to happen in the next 12 minutes. So we'll see how this turns and rolls. And if it does, again, I'm actually okay with the short here. Like I said, obviously the dollar has some movement, but CAD's not doing bad either, right? The CAD is not, their economy is not horrible. So dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss, we're waiting, 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 waiting. Finally got there at 5 o'clock this morning. And again, you can see that we're starting to turn inside of that level. It did come up and grab the 61.8. And this is what we're mentioning that, hey, listen, we have a zone that we're using. Because, and again, if everybody and their brother is waiting for that 68 to hit, you may not get filled on it, but it is starting to turn. And again, 10:30 reversal. It's coming in. This one would have reversed at 9:30, so just a little bit early on that. But we were looking for a push down. So, if you're not into the trade right now, again, we typically like to see some type of whether it be a color change or a break through the bottom. You're about to get into a position here for this to come to the downside. So, I mean, it's set. Let's see. Profit target wise, there's our kind of first tested profit target. And again, it's right at the end of the 1 to 3, so it's not a bad position, right? It's not the worst here, right? Coming back down to 96, 86. Not the worst, right? And again, you wouldn't need to take this full bit. You could shrink this down and find like a smaller base on it if you wanted to. Yeah, a little bit. You could shrink the risk on that one a little bit if you wanted to. But again, I think it's it's lined up the same way a couple other things are with the dollar river, dollar strength kind of leaving after the Europeans gave it a ton of strength out there. So yeah, just same type of setup. Dollar yen. So funny enough, we talked about the zone. It did get front run 8:30 in the morning, and then late last night on Sunday night, it didn't even slow it down. It got blown through, and then magically enough, look at this, came back down again, and the Europeans 3 o'clock in the morning. Europeans turned this thing, Harry Pottered it, and sent it all the way to a profit target up to 137.60. So it does look very similar to everything else out there. It's just been so long since we've been up here. We're kind of marking off new levels, and again, I'd say that it's a decent level right there, right? Not bad. And also look at this and say, hey, listen, there was your base. There's your Harry Potter. Remember, we don't really typically use the pullbacks, the violated zones more than once. And if you look below that, we do kind of have a racetrack down to where the gap was over the weekend. So I don't know. This would be a lot of dollar weakness coming in to really get it back down there. But your 1 to 3 is only right there. So that's not, again, it's an if this, then that type scenario. I don't know when it's going to hit these levels, but when it does, that tends to be a decent trade. And again, nice little Harry Potter off of it. So we can throw an alert on that one. I think that one's not horrible. HP confirm short. All right. Yeah. So again, same reversal. You can see Bitcoin struggling again. We had that parabolic move last week, and again, maybe even not parabolic because it did base and then pop and then base and then pop. It's just retracing back to where it was. Ethereum, kind of the same thing. It's pulling back. We'll see if Ethereum can get all the way back down to 1,000. Um, Doji accelerating. Hasn't broken 1 to 6 yet, but it's close, right? It's close, and again, it was below there, so won't be surprised when it goes through. Bonds obviously having an up day with indices solidly in the red, and again, not as bad as they were, but again, not surprised that they're higher. Let's look at crude. We talked about it coming back down to 100, and it did. Looks like it made it down to 180. We were looking for a little bit lower to come back down to that dark black line, right? Right, and that dark black line is the $100 mark, and we had a little bit of basing below it. So we called for down and up. It kind of stabilized and maintained over the weekend, and instead of coming down here on Friday, it just did it on Sunday night before turning and bouncing back up again. So same thing, and again, Fridays are always hard. Let's get this right on. There we go. I would say 105 is definitely an area to watch out for. It did kind of front run a 61.8, which again, depending on how you draw it, maybe it didn't. Let's see. It looks like one of them would have tagged. It would have been close. But anyway, we know that we definitely have some basing coming in up here. And we talked about it last week. 105 was going to be a level to watch out for. There's nothing on the left that we can use. So, I mean, as far as clean shorts go, we have 108.11 right here. I would say this 105 figure, again, 105 being very psychological. It's going to be a pain. 05. Right? 105 would be another level where I'd say, hey, listen, if you get up there and start basing, it's already been there. The 61.8ers will probably come back in again. I still think 100 is a profit target. Would not be surprised today if we hit it. Like I said, a lot of the recessionary fears out there are affecting oil. So I think this comes back down to 100, and then the question is, do we base? Do we take a confirmation bounce off 100 is where I'd be looking at it. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, this one had a quick spike right at 9, right? And then 9:30, we're starting to, the U.S. trader is obviously not supporting oil today. So not necessarily the best day, but natural gas is definitely getting supported. So natural gas, again, this one is kind of one of those weird scenarios. We had a level, it got past the level. So as far as how do you trade this one, this is a trend continuation with a weekend gap, right? It came back in again, and when it leaves that zone, which would have been here, it was a long trade. Now, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think that that one would have actually gone to its full 1 to 3. 1 to 3 is there. No, look at that. It just missed. So, you'd still be in this trade. You'd be at a two, 1 to 2, 1 to 2.5, something along those lines. Actually, here, let's just do it. You'd be at, I guess it's a 1.85 now, but at its peak, you were at a 2.8. So almost a three. Almost a three right there. Hold on one sec. Call you back in 20. Okay. Sorry. Um, all kinds of lacrosse drama. Season's over and there's still drama. It never ends. But anyway, monstrous day up 9%. A lot of that happened to do with the gap. And again, some of that is okay, less than a penny away. People are already starting to talk. I love it. Parody, 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 parody. Here you go. So you got this, right? Nord Stream 1 is notifying the market about maintenance, but unclear, of course, what happens at the end of it. So again, talking about this, um, you know, energy from Russia, always going to be an issue. And again, because of it, we're seeing this pop. So again, had you traded the over, the weekend gaps, again, as it pops through, you're waiting for it to, kind of break through that kind of established zone. And it did. It broke through a little bit. And that, some people may have been like, well, wait a second, are we going to fill the gap here? No. Remember, you pull back to the gap and then take off, and you get it on the way out. And again, you would have been long, made it to 2.8. So it's close. And again, I think we could probably hit it today. But if you're not already in it, it's a little bit late. Gold, again, we talked about gold being here. There was the one news trade last week, and we're really just in the same exact spot. It's down 2.32. Really kind of waiting for this one to come down and grab 1725. Gold's in a weird spot. Talking about, hey, listen, it's prudent. We got to make sure we do this. We got to, make sure we get inflation back under control. I would say fundamentally right now, gold is not probably going to be the easiest thing to trade. It is going to depend on how fast they raise the interest rates, but the overall goal is going to be exactly the same. They are trying to not, I don't want to say kill, but they are trying to kill inflation, which again, that's gold. So again, this was a level we had, and again, the level was good. It was out right here, in and out in the next candle. So again, the punch through, we're not, it's a Harry Potter trade. We're not interested in, you know, really anything past that. So I'll remove it. Actually, I don't need it anymore. Let's drag this down and see where we can. Let's see. This one never came back up. So we can remove that level. Unfortunately, it did come back. It just didn't give us the entry before going lower. But we do have a level right there. It is somewhat in close proximity to the 23.6. I actually don't mind that level at all. 1767. 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So again, price is not back up there, but for any reason, if we do get kind of a spike up there, I think they're looking at that 1767.45 ish level. Again, we do have a confirmation touch of it at 8:30, and then boom, a big explosion to the downside. So for any reason, if we are able to get popped up there, I do think there's probably something there. But again, it is a little bit far of a ways away, and again, we're still looking for 1725 to be hit on the bottom. We could take a small bounce off of that 1725, but again, I'm just not in the belief right now with with all the raising interest rates and everything else, and such an effort to get back to where the 2% is supposed to be. I think gold is not necessarily the best thing to be trading. Silver, same chop back and forth. We do have a Harry Potter set with a break of 1890 below. Again, nothing really sideways. It's down, what, 0.5, but that's only because it closed higher over here. I would say that it's really more sideways trending right now, not really anything to, no real trade setup or anything. So, nothing great. Nothing wonderful in silver either. Let's check the indices again. They are accelerating. There we go. So no Harry Potter entry on the top, so we'll remove it just to keep the chart clean. We can adjust this just a bit higher. Again, nice little gap. We never pulled back to the gap, though. It was close. Actually, you know what? We did, actually. Right? Coming back down, a gap, and then again, 2 touches off of it. So there was actually a short there. You can see we had the profit target here at 38.67. Again, we hit it. We started to bounce around it. So again, profit target is taken out now. With this low to high draw on the fibs right now, it looks like our next target is going to be really sitting right down here, which just happens to also coincide with the 50% retracement level. So right now, I would say if you guys are short, right, your targets for your shorts for taking profit will be 38, 39.50. Let's see, 15-minute candle. Ooh, that probably is a trigger. There would have been your basing. And yep. Actually, I would have drawn it. Yeah, right there. Yeah, so there's a 9:30 in opening print. We were sitting right here on the open. It popped just a little bit in close proximity, and I think that this one may actually already even be out. Yep, it's officially out. So one for one so far. Not only entry but also exit. Again, one for one on entry, one for one on profit target. All right. Like I said, I think this one comes down to 38.93. If there's going to be a reversal, it's probably kicking in right about now. But there's definitely sellers building up there, and the negative sentiment is in. This is only down 1.13, so not the strongest, not the weakest, kind of in the middle of the road there. But again, if we continue to push and if we do not reverse now, this should be an easy target to grab. And the next one below that is actually more of a Harry Potter setup because we pushed it, we hit it, we hit it, we hit it. This is technically hit number 5, and we have pushed lower on 2 of those hits. So if we do continue to collapse, look for this number down here at that 61.8, and if we can break through the 38.09, oops, cancel. 38.09, we're looking for a short to push back down into probably that range, 375, right? NQ. So, not surprised at all. I mean, there was our NQ trade from last week. Uh, Actually, look at that. It was a gap. It pulled up, grabbed the zone, and then took off. So that was a Sunday night trade. Um, right now, I'd say that watch this level again. Kind of a similar path, and I would say that right now, your shorts and NQ, I would say 11,762. Now there was a zone here a little bit, and you can see that's kind of where it started to form this chop. Um, Let me see on a near term. Let's just do from opening down. Yeah. So that's what I was wondering. Here's your kind of your high from Sunday night. There's your low that happened a little while ago. You can see that this is kind of pulling up at the 23.6. Okay. So the question is, are the fib traders going to kind of step in here in mass? Right. I mean, since the basically the 9:30 window, obviously there was the big initial push down, and this is that kind of parabolic retracement back up again. But here's your impulse. There's your correction. It is the weakest. If 1030 is not going to be a full reversal all the way back up, this is where you're going to get some help with trend continuations. So, that level is coming in right at 11,929.50, right? That's where fib traders are going to pull this trigger on some additional shorts to play this to the downside. So 11,762 would be where kind of the target is for shorts. All right. Now, would you trade this one at the open? Not really. It would have had to pull back a little bit. But again, it didn't have enough room profit wise because there was a base right below. So this one was kind of sandwiched. So 1 for 2 on entries, still 1 for 1 as far as profit targets hit. But again, you had to be thinking NQ short on the open no matter what. And again, had you been playing that, knowing everything we heard over the weekend, absolutely you could have traded a short position on this one. I don't know what the volatility looked like ahead of time though, but this was a no-brainer. You should absolutely have been short. And again, with Twitter down 7%, you knew that tech was going to have a hard time today. So this would have been an easy one to grab in the overnight as well. YM, look at the YM chop. Now we do know that we had a level down here at 31.84. Again, we talked about that last week. It looks like early morning today is when we bounced off of that level. It was kind of a bigger level, and the risk on it was kind of hard to grab. We didn't really have anything near term. Um, as I said, we knew it was coming in. There was the base and all the testing. Let's see if you actually would have got a 1 to 3 out of this one. Yeah, you would have. So again, European Open. There you go. Let's see. We'll move that across. Would we have gotten an opening print trade? Looking from where price was. Let's see. 9:30 would have been here. I see what it did. It grabbed this zone here, which is absolutely a legitimate zone. If you were trying to scalp this one at the open, right there, you probably would have got busted through, but you can see in less than 30 minutes, the short still would have happened. So had you taken this with Nadex, taken like a binary short at the open, again, it wouldn't have mattered that it went higher. It just went higher to grab that other zone. You'd be currently positive right now to the downside. Now, I don't think it would have made. Let me see. Would it have made a full 1 to 3 already? Uh, yes, because that's 303. Actually, hold on. Let me make sure. I'm not trying to cherry pick this one. That's 2.8 now. Right there is 3. So it was super close. Super close from the entry. Again, you're still positive. We are seeing a little bit of a retreat at 10:30 this morning, which is not not uncommon. This one's only down 0.57, so it is technically the strongest, although it's in the red. Right, it's in the red. Um, yeah, I mean, I would say this is a level we were looking at. I would say right now, target wise, look for this one to come back down to 31 and 62. Oops, it should be this, right? So yeah, something along those lines. Um, trying to think, would I take an immediate? No, I would not take an immediate buy off of that one. Yeah, 31.62 would be this 31.062 or 310.62. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. This one is deeper. It may actually continue to collapse and fall through. Let me see. And again, I would want to get more of a near-term base on this one. 1 to 3 is right there. That would be the break of this. And again, the 50 is right there. So there may actually be another short. So once we come down, if we come through here and base, if we're basing, um, look for a potential break of 110.23. So there could be another nice little short on that one. So, but yeah, profit target is the first thing we need to hit. And again, that's at 310.61. We come down and start the base, look for another short. And again, that would be a profit target down here to 30.908. So again, not out yet on the confirmation. It would have gotten an entry. Again, for a futures trader, it would have been a bit harder. It went to the next level up. But again, if you were trading Nadex, you were pretty deep in the hole in this one. So you may have actually taken it off for profit already. I don't know. Russell 930. Yeah, this one would have been hard. Again, futures traders would have kind of had a little bit of a fit with this one. Nadex would have gotten triggered, and you're well beyond the 1 to 3. This one is down the most, and again, you tend to expect that, right? 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So, yeah, I mean, here's the 930 candle. There's your base level. Obviously, it would have triggered, and again, as long as again, if you've taken a knockout or a binary wouldn't have mattered, a knockout, you probably would have been fine. That's in pretty close proximity. I actually don't know. Actually, you know what? Let's pull it up real quick. We may be out on the bottom side already. Let me see if where the knockout was on that one. Indices, small cap. Let's see. Right around 62. No, it looks like it's already been taken out. Yeah, it looks like it was already eaten. Yeah, there was a 7. Yeah, it looks like there would have been a 1760, which you would have not been smack in the middle of that one. You probably wouldn't have taken that one. That wouldn't have been safe. There was a 1770, so maybe there would not have been a knockout on this one. It's a shame there wasn't anything at like the 65 mark. 65 would have been perfect, right? 70 is a bit high. 60 quite risky, right? Quite risky. So that would have been rough. Check the binaries how they looked. Let's see. At 59. Oh yeah, yeah. You would have been good. You would even the 2 hour, the Russell Small Cap 2000, the 9 to 11. You would have been golden on this one. It would have been golden. It was down to here, so it would have dropped six strikes. So yeah, it would have been nice little. It would have been nice little shot for binaries. Knockouts, they didn't quite match up there. Um, Oh, there actually was a decent one. There was actually a call spread that was at 1765. So it looks like this morning the call spread would have been the way to play this one. Um, it's not bad. $150 call spread. You're well beyond it right now, right? You are well beyond it right now. Got 5 hours to go on it. And actually, there was actually it'd be 9 to 11. Actually, the 9 to 11 also not bad. There was a 1763 and a 1759, which again, when this popped through, the 1759 could have been one of those ones that you looked at. And obviously, this one is well past right now. I mean, these things are quite small. Um, they only have 75 in the shorter duration ones, but yeah, the 63 actually. Um, 63. I mean, it's blown it out of the water. That actually would have been a nice little call spread. That one was. It's a shame there wasn't a knockout placed at that one, but yeah, the 1763 2 hour 9 to 11 duration call spread. Again, I don't know how much. I can't see now how much. There's obviously no pricing on it because price is so much lower. I can't see how much volatility or was priced into that one. But man, that would have been a nice little short. I should have looked this morning. I was just so tired. Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty nice. All right, so that's it for today. Like I said, I mean, as far as opening prints go, it looks like did we get one for YM? No. Well, yes, you would have got it. Um, again, Nate XYs, you may or may not have gotten out of this one. But again, you would have been protected on the bigger one. So definitely won and went to full profit target. Again, this one also. So I would say it's 2 for 2. Maybe I don't know. We'll split the difference. 2.5 out of 4 as far as entries go today. Technically, you could have got into 3-1. You absolutely would not have, but that one you didn't get into, you should have known to go short at the open based off the Elon. As far as profit targets go, depending on which product would you've used, probably 3 out of 3 at this point. Maybe you're still in YM. Maybe you didn't get enough out of it. But if you were looking for something a little bit farther out of the money, again, you may or may not have gotten your 3-1 out of it. So YM is the only one that you may not have. ES, Russell, absolutely. NQ, you should have made money on that one on the short off the open today. And again, we're right at that 23.6 now, so this is the time that we're looking for the reversals. Let me see what the dollar's doing. Yeah, look at the dollar. It's giving us a red. It's giving us a green. We get a close here. I mean, I know we're only 6 minutes into this one. Actually, this is on a 15. So we got 9 minutes to go. Your red, green, red confirmation on a reversal after the open at 10:30. We're kind of in that same range. So it's all lining up for reversal day. And again, probably what we're going to see. All right, so let's do it today. Who won Friday? Was it Ernest? I think it. No, it wasn't Ernest. Wasn't it? I think it was Will. I think Will won on Friday with one ticket. He stopped Ernest on that one. So we'll be going for 100. Everybody else is going for 25 today. Sean, good to have you back. Good to have you back. I was even saying, I'm like, it's like kind of like the best time of the year up there. I don't know how much Sean's actually at the computer right now. Sean gets like 3 good months a year, and this is it. So yeah, but good to have you back, Sean. All right, let's close it down. Let's do the winner of today's drawing. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'll check it, but I'm pretty sure it was Will. Winner of today's drawing is Ernest. I'm almost positive it was not Ernest, but I will check it. Mark is complete. Let's go back. It was Will. All right, so Ernest only gets his 25 today. So let's see in here. Ernest gets his 25. There we go. Didn't we ban Ernest already? It's hard to ban a moderator. So Ernest actually, so I do it like I can one click ban people if I see it. But Ernest, I gave him the power to also be able to ban people, like if I was busy. So you have to have really high level hacks, Neuro, to be able to ban a moderator, right? So yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. That's why he has the little sword next to his name, right? So technically, Ernest can like put people in timeout and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think he can accidentally ban himself, right? He can accidentally ban himself. But hey, Neuro, I will say, I tried to duel you on Friday and you didn't accept my duel. You only had 2 minutes and you didn't accept it. So Ernest accepted the duel, but you didn't accept my duel. Yeah, I've not been on much. Raining today though. Oh yeah. Hey Sean, all I gotta say is like I am so waterlogged still from Saturday. Like rain just is horrible. But again, I was like, hey guys, Sean's got 3 great months and Upstate Michigan is really, really nice this time of year. They'll have some snow flurries in August, September. You get some freezing temps. Some snow in October. But Ernest is like, don't test me. So, all right. With that said, guys, I'll be out tomorrow. So I'm gonna shoot Dan a message. So just guys, keep it a lookout. I'm gonna shoot Dan a message. If they still don't have access to go to meeting, that means that the 12 o'clock thing is not happening. In which case, I will try to jump on tomorrow morning from 9:30 to 10:30 instead of the 12 o'clock to 1, just because it gives us more abilities to kind of trade some stuff. So we'll see, what I hear back and how soon I hear back. All right, and I'll let you guys know. With that said, I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. If you need anything, shoot me a message on Discord. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you catch you tomorrow. Take care.